20 forgotten fads from the 1980s. Remember neon jelly shoes, Walkmans, and Rubik's cubes? The 80s were packed with unforgettable trends. Join us as we rewind and reveal 20 iconic fads that defined this totally rad decade. From big hair to popped collars, how many do you remember? Let's dive back into the awesomeness of the 80s. Parachute pants. It's the early 80s. The streets are alive with the rhythm of hip-hop, and break dancers are popping, locking, and spinning in these incredible billowy pants. They're shiny, made of lightweight nylon, and they flow with every move. These are parachute pants, and they were about to take the world by storm. Originally designed for practicality and movement, parachute pants quickly became a fashion statement. Their flashy, eye-catching style appealed to a generation that was all about self-expression and individuality. They were comfortable, durable, and perfect for showing off your dance skills. Shows like Soul Train became a platform for showcasing the parachute pants' coolness. We saw legendary artists like Michael Jackson and Curtis Blow rocking these pants, making them even more desirable. Movies like Breakin' cemented their status as the ultimate symbol of 80s street style. Brands like Bugle Boy were quick to capitalize on the trend, mass-producing parachute pants in a rainbow of colors and designs. Everyone, from pop stars to everyday kids, wanted a pair. They were a symbol of coolness, rebellion, and the vibrant energy of the decade. Members-only jackets. It's the early 80s, and suddenly this sleek, slim-fitting nylon jacket with distinctive shoulder epaulets and ribbed cuffs starts popping up everywhere. It had a certain aura of mystery and exclusivity. This was the members-only jacket, and it came with a powerful tagline: "When you put it on, something happens." And something did happen. People felt cool, confident, and like they were part of an exclusive club. The jackets came in a variety of colors, but they all shared that signature look, a blend of sporty and sophisticated. They were marketed as a premium brand, creating a sense of aspiration and desirability. By the mid-80s, members-only jackets were everywhere. You saw them on the streets, in schools, and even on your favorite TV shows and music videos. Celebrities like Don Johnson in Miami Vice, and even the fictional character Alex P. Keaton in Family Ties, sported the jacket, further fueling its popularity. But the brand didn't just rely on celebrity endorsements. Members Only cleverly aligned itself with social causes, sponsoring events and initiatives that resonated with young people. This strategy boosted their image and made them more than just a fashion brand. They became a symbol of social awareness. Jelly shoes. Picture this. It's the summer of '82. The World's Fair is buzzing, and suddenly these bright, colorful shoes pop up everywhere. They're made of a squishy plastic called PVC, totally see-through, and come in every shade of the rainbow. We're talking neon pink, electric blue, sunshine yellow, you name it. These were jelly shoes, and they took the 80s by storm. Now, why were they so popular? Well, for one thing, they were super affordable. Every kid could get their hands on a pair, or two, or three. Plus, they were just plain fun. They were playful, quirky, and totally captured the vibrant, energetic spirit of the decade. But let's be real, folks. Jelly shoes weren't exactly known for their comfort. Remember those hot summer days? Imagine your feet sweating inside those plastic shoes. Ouch. Blisters were a common side effect of rocking the jelly shoe look. But hey, fashion sometimes requires a little sacrifice, right? Interestingly, even though they weren't the most practical footwear, jelly shoes had a major impact on fashion. They showed that shoes could be more than just functional. They could be a statement piece, a way to express your personality and have some fun with your style. Slap bracelets. You're walking down the hallway, and suddenly you hear a snap, followed by a flash of neon color wrapping around someone's wrist. That, my friends, was the sound of a slap bracelet in action. These flexible metal strips covered in brightly colored fabric, were the must-have accessory in the late 80s. But where did this snapping sensation come from? Believe it or not, they were invented by a Wisconsin shop teacher back in 1983. He was playing around with a steel ribbon and discovered that it could curl around your wrist with a satisfying snap. And boom, a fashion phenomenon was born. Slap bracelets became a playground staple. Kids traded them, collected them, and competed to see who had the coolest designs. They were fun, affordable, and totally addictive. However, not all slap bracelets were created equal. Some cheaper versions had poorly finished edges, and there were reports of kids getting cuts or scratches. This led to a wave of slap bracelet bans in schools across the country. Talk about a fashion controversy. But even with the safety concerns, the slap bracelet's legacy lived on. They became a symbol of 80s nostalgia, popping up in movies, TV shows, and even making occasional comebacks as retro accessories. Cabbage Patch Kids. It's Christmas 1983, and toy stores across America are in chaos. Parents are pushing, shoving, even fighting to get their hands on a single doll. What was causing this pandemonium? Cabbage Patch Kids. These adorable, soft-bodied dolls with their unique, chubby faces and yarn hair became an overnight sensation. Created by artist Xavier Roberts, they were originally handmade and sold in a folk art style. But what truly set them apart was their adoption concept. Each Cabbage Patch Kid came with a name, a birth certificate, and adoption papers. This made them feel like more than just toys. They felt like real babies that needed a loving home. Kids, and even some adults, became emotionally attached to their Cabbage Patch Kids, further fueling the craze. The demand far outstripped the supply, leading to those infamous scenes of frantic shoppers battling it out in toy stores. The Cabbage Patch Kid craze became a cultural phenomenon, talked about on news programs, parodied on late-night TV, and even sparking debates about consumerism and holiday hysteria. Did any of these 80s fads bring back a flood of memories? Share your favorite, or most embarrassing, 80s moments in the comments. Swatch Watches. It's 1983, and the Swiss watch industry is facing a crisis. Traditional, expensive timepieces are losing ground to cheaper quartz watches from Asia. Then along comes Swatch, a bold, innovative brand that flips the script on everything we thought we knew about watches. Swatch watches were a burst of vibrant energy in a world of muted tones. They were bright, colorful, and unapologetically playful. They featured quirky patterns, clear plastic cases that let you see the inner workings, and a wide variety of designs that catered to every personality. Suddenly, watches weren't just about telling time. They were about expressing your style, making a statement, and having fun. People started wearing multiple swatches at once, mixing and matching colors and designs to create unique arm parties. Swatch also tapped into the growing trend of collecting. They released limited editions and collaborated with artists, creating highly sought-after watches that became instant collector's items. This strategy not only boosted sales, but also turned Swatch into a cultural phenomenon. But the real genius of Swatch was its affordability. These stylish watches were accessible to a wider audience, making them a global sensation. They helped revitalize the Swiss watch industry by proving that quality and style didn't have to come with a hefty price tag. Big hair. We're talking towering tease styles, cascading curls, and clouds of hairspray that could rival the ozone layer. This was the era of big hair, and it was a statement that couldn't be ignored. Both men and women embraced the trend. Women sported voluminous perms, teased bangs, and gravity-defying updos. Men weren't far behind, with styles like the mullet and the power ponytail becoming symbols of 80s cool. Hairspray was the essential tool in achieving these gravity-defying looks. Brands like Aquanet became household names, their cans practically glued to the hands of anyone who wanted to achieve maximum volume. Hair salons thrived as people flocked to get perms, layers, and expert styling to achieve the perfect big hair look. But big hair wasn't just about aesthetics. It was a statement. It was a rebellion against the more laid-back, natural styles of the 70s. It was a declaration of confidence, individuality, and a desire to stand out from the crowd. Big hair was a reflection of the 80s bold, extravagant, and go big or go home mentality. Leg warmers. It's the early 80s, and Jane Fonda's workout videos are all the rage. Suddenly, everyone's doing aerobics, sporting brightly colored leotards, headbands, and these fuzzy, colorful things on their legs. Those were leg warmers, and they were about to become an iconic 80s accessory. Originally designed to keep dancers and athletes warm during workouts, leg warmers quickly transcended their functional purpose. Thanks to the aerobics craze and the rise of athleisure, they became a fashion statement. They were colorful, comfortable, and added a touch of sporty chic to any outfit. They weren't just limited to the gym anymore. People started wearing them with jeans, skirts, dresses, and even over their high heels. Neon colors were particularly popular, reflecting the 80s love for all things bright and bold. Popped collars. It's the mid-80s, and suddenly everyone's walking around with their polo shirt collars popped high. It didn't matter if it was a Ralph Lauren, Lacoste, or Izod. The key was to have that collar standing tall and proud. This was the era of popped collars, and it became a symbol of casual cool and a subtle way to make a statement. Popped collars were embraced by both men and women. It was a trend that transcended gender and social circles. It was particularly popular among the preppy set, but its appeal spread far beyond that. It was a look that said, I'm stylish, I'm confident, and I don't need to try too hard. But why did popping your collar become such a big deal? Well, it was a subtle act of rebellion against the more formal fashion norms of the time. It was a way to inject a bit of personality and playfulness into everyday attire. It was also a way to subtly showcase your brand loyalty, as certain brands like Ralph Lauren became synonymous with the popped collar look. While the trend faded by the early 90s, it remains a memorable fashion statement that's often associated with the 80s. It's a reminder of a time when fashion was a little less serious and a lot more about expressing your individuality. Friendship bracelets. It's the summer of '85, and you're hanging out with your best friends, fingers intertwined as you meticulously knot colorful strands of embroidery floss. You're creating friendship bracelets, unique tokens of your bond, to be worn as a symbol of your enduring friendship. Friendship bracelets were more than just accessories. They were a labor of love. Each bracelet was handmade, often taking hours to complete. The patterns were intricate and varied, each one a testament to the time and care invested in its creation. These bracelets became a ubiquitous symbol of friendship, particularly among teenagers. They were exchanged as gifts, worn with pride, and served as a constant reminder of the special connections between friends. The act of making friendship bracelets was just as important as wearing them. It was a social activity, a way to spend time together, and a creative outlet. Friends would gather, share patterns, and teach each other new knotting techniques. It was a bonding experience that strengthened friendships and created lasting memories. Did I miss any of your favorite 80s fads? Tell me what I forgot in the comments, and let's reminisce together. Scrunchies. It's the mid-80s, and suddenly these colorful fabric-covered hair ties are everywhere. They're popping up in ponytails, adorning wrists, and even becoming fashion statements in their own right. These were scrunchies, and they were about to revolutionize the way we styled our hair. Scrunchies were a welcome departure from the harsh, often damaging traditional elastics. They were made of soft, stretchy fabric, making them gentler on hair and less likely to cause breakage or creases. Plus, they were incredibly versatile. They could be used to create a variety of hairstyles, from casual ponytails to elegant updos. But scrunchies weren't just about practicality. They were a fashion statement. They came in a dazzling array of colors, patterns, and materials, from velvet and satin to denim, and even sequins. They could be matched to any outfit, adding a pop of color or a touch of whimsy to your look. Celebrities like Madonna embraced scrunchies, further boosting their popularity. They were seen on the streets, in music videos, and even on the red carpet. Scrunchies became a symbol of 80s style, reflecting the decade's embrace of bold colors, playful accessories, and a more relaxed approach to fashion. Mood rings. You're sporting a ring with a large, milky stone that shifts colors throughout the day. It's a mood ring, and it supposedly reveals your emotional state based on your body temperature. Feeling happy? The stone might turn blue. Stressed? Maybe it'll turn amber. Intrigued? It might even shift to green. Mood rings were more than just jewelry. They were a conversation starter, a source of mystery, and a fun way to explore your inner world. Teenagers, especially, were drawn to the idea that these rings could offer a glimpse into their hidden emotions. The science behind mood rings was based on liquid crystals embedded within the stone. These crystals responded to changes in temperature by altering their molecular structure, which in turn affected the way they reflected light, resulting in the color changes. While the accuracy of mood rings was questionable, they were more likely reflecting your body temperature than your actual emotions. They were undeniably fun and intriguing. They added a touch of mystique and sparked conversations about feelings and moods. Did you wear a mood ring back in the day? What colors did you see the most? Share your mood ring memories and stories in the comments below. Acid wash jeans. Acid wash jeans were created by soaking denim in chlorine bleach, which stripped away some of the dye and created a distinctive bleached-out look. The process resulted in a variety of patterns, from subtle streaks to dramatic blotches, making each pair of acid wash jeans unique. These jeans were a hit among teenagers and young adults, perfectly complementing the oversized, rebellious fashion trends of the decade. Bands like Bon Jovi and Def Leppard embraced acid wash jeans, further solidifying their status as a symbol of rock and roll cool. Interestingly, the acid wash technique was actually developed in Italy, but it truly took off in the United States, becoming synonymous with 80s fashion. They were a bold departure from the traditional clean-cut denim of the past, reflecting a desire for individuality and a less polished, more rebellious aesthetic. Did you rock acid wash jeans back in the day? What memories do they evoke for you? Share your acid wash stories and fashion thoughts in the comments below. Zubaz Pants. Zubaz Pants were the brainchild of two Minnesota bodybuilders who wanted to create comfortable and flexible workout wear. They opted for a loose, relaxed fit and a unique fabric that allowed for a full range of motion. But what truly set Zubaz apart was their signature zebra stripe print, often accompanied by vibrant neon colors. These pants quickly became a symbol of fitness and bodybuilding culture. Athletes, weightlifters, and even professional wrestlers embraced Zubaz, drawn to their comfort, practicality, and eye-catching style. The trend even extended beyond the gym, with Zubaz becoming a popular streetwear choice for those who wanted to make a bold fashion statement. The NFL also got in on the Zubaz action, with the brand producing officially licensed pants featuring team logos. This brought Zubaz into the mainstream and solidified its status as a pop culture phenomenon. Rubik's Cube. Invented by Hungarian architect Erno Rubik in 1974, Rubik's Cube hit American toy stores in the early 80s and quickly captivated the nation. The challenge was simple, yet incredibly difficult: to align all 6 sides of the cube so that each face showed a single color. Rubik's Cube was more than just a toy. It was a mental challenge, a source of frustration, and a symbol of 80s ingenuity. It was a puzzle that transcended age, language, and cultural barriers. People of all backgrounds were captivated by its complexity and the satisfaction of finally solving it. The Rubik's Cube craze led to the emergence of speed cubing competitions, where contestants raced to solve the puzzle in the shortest amount of time. These competitions showcased incredible dexterity and problem-solving skills, further elevating the cube's status as a cultural phenomenon. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Roller disco. It's the late 70s and early 80s, and disco fever is sweeping the nation. Suddenly, roller skating rinks are transforming into vibrant, pulsating dance floors. Flashing lights, mirror balls, and the infectious beat of disco music fill the air. This was the era of roller disco, and it was about to become a cultural sensation. Roller discos were more than just places to skate. They were social hubs, a place to meet friends, show off your moves, and dance the night away. They became a symbol of freedom, self-expression, and the carefree spirit of the decade. Famous venues like Studio 54 in New York City and the Roxy in Los Angeles became synonymous with the roller disco trend. Movies like Roller Boogie captured the energy and excitement of the scene, further fueling its popularity. Roller disco fashion was just as vibrant as the music. Skaters donned flashy outfits, often incorporating bright colors, sequins, and spandex. Leg warmers, headbands, and short shorts were also popular choices, creating a look that was both functional and stylish. Walkman. It's 1979, and suddenly there's this sleek, compact device that lets you take your music anywhere. It's the Walkman, and it's about to unleash a personal music revolution. Before the Walkman, listening to music meant being tethered to a record player or a boombox. But the Walkman, with its portable cassette player and lightweight headphones, offered a whole new level of freedom. Suddenly, you could listen to your favorite tunes while walking, jogging, riding the bus, or just chilling in your room without disturbing anyone. The Walkman quickly became a cultural icon, especially among teenagers. It was a symbol of independence, individuality, and the power of music to shape personal experiences. The Walkman became an extension of oneself, a way to express your identity through the music you chose to carry with you. Mixtapes became a huge part of the Walkman culture. People would spend hours carefully curating playlists for themselves and their friends, recording songs from the radio or their vinyl collections. These mixtapes became personalized soundtracks to life, filled with new wave, pop, rock, and whatever genres resonated with the listener. Sony's marketing played a key role in the Walkman's success. They portrayed it as a symbol of the 80s lifestyle, active, independent, and always connected to the music that moved you. Teddy Ruxpin. It's Christmas 1985, and the hottest toy on every kid's wish list is a cuddly teddy bear with a secret. This is Teddy Ruxpin, and he's not just any teddy bear. He can talk, sing, and tell stories. Teddy Ruxpin was a revolutionary toy for its time. He had a built-in cassette player and a special mechanism that synchronized his mouth and eyes with the audio on the tapes. This brought Teddy to life, making him feel like more than just a toy. He was a friend, a storyteller, and a magical companion. Teddy Ruxpin became an instant sensation. Parents scrambled to find him in stores, and kids were captivated by his ability to bring stories to life. Each Teddy Ruxpin came with a special cassette tape and storybook, allowing children to follow along as Teddy narrated adventures and sang songs. The Teddy Ruxpin craze even extended to the small screen, with an animated TV series that further expanded the world of Teddy and his friends. Teddy Ruxpin became a cultural phenomenon, capturing the hearts of children and sparking their imaginations. Pogo Ball. It's a sunny afternoon in the 80s, and the playground is alive with the sound of squeaking rubber and the sight of kids bouncing up and down on these strange, spherical contraptions. These are Pogo Balls, and they're the latest craze to take over recess. The Pogo Ball, created by Hasbro, was essentially a rubber ball sandwiched between two plastic discs. The challenge was to stand on the discs and bounce up and down, using your balance and coordination to stay upright. Mastering the Pogo Ball wasn't easy. It took practice, perseverance, and a willingness to endure a few falls and bumps along the way. But once you got the hang of it, it was a thrilling and exhilarating experience. The Pogo Ball offered a unique combination of physical activity and pure, unadulterated fun. The Pogo Ball became a playground staple, a source of friendly competition, and a test of skill and determination. It was a toy that encouraged kids to get active, challenge themselves, and embrace the inevitable bumps and bruises that came with mastering a new skill. Shrinky Dinks. Shrinky Dinks were more than just a craft. They were a source of wonder and excitement. The real magic happened when you popped your creations into the oven. As the heat intensified, the plastic would magically shrink, transforming your drawings into miniature, durable works of art. Shrinky Dinks were a staple of DIY craft kits in the 80s. They came in various themed sets, from cartoon characters and animals to jewelry and keychains. They were sold in toy stores, craft stores, and even supermarkets, making them accessible to kids of all ages and interests. The appeal of Shrinky Dinks lay in the transformation. It was like witnessing a mini miracle as your drawings shrunk and solidified, becoming colorful, durable keepsakes that you could wear, display, or share with your friends. Did you create Shrinky Dink masterpieces back in the day? What were your favorite designs and creations? Share your Shrinky Dink memories and crafting experiences in the comments below. ViewMaster. Originally invented in the 1930s, the ViewMaster experienced a resurgence in popularity in the 80s. It was a simple yet ingenious device that used stereoscopic images to create the illusion of depth and immersion. View. Master Reels featured a wide range of content, from popular cartoon characters and movie scenes to educational images of animals, landmarks, and historical events. Kids would collect and swap reels, eagerly exploring new worlds and sharing their favorite experiences with friends. The ViewMaster offered a unique form of storytelling, a precursor to the virtual reality experiences we have today. It allowed children to immerse themselves in different worlds and engage with stories in a more interactive and engaging way. The Clapper. The Clapper, released in 1984, was a sound-activated device that allowed you to control lights and appliances with a simple clap of your hands. It was marketed as the ultimate inconvenience, freeing you from the need to fumble for light switches or remote controls. The Clapper's commercials became iconic, showcasing people clapping to turn off lamps, TVs, and even coffee makers. While its technology seems basic today, it felt incredibly futuristic back then. The Clapper wasn't without its quirks. Loud noises or even a boisterous laugh could sometimes trigger it accidentally. But despite its imperfections, it became a household name, a symbol of 80s ingenuity and the promise of a more automated future. 20 things from the 1980s that kids today will never understand. The 80s were packed with trends and technologies now vanished. Join us as we uncover 20 things you can no longer do, from smoky airplane sections to dial-up internet. Get ready to feel nostalgic and amazed by how much has changed. Jazzercise. Cue the synth music and neon lights. We're going back to the 80s, a time when leg warmers were essential workout attire, and jazzercise was the hottest ticket in town. Remember those high-energy group aerobics classes, bursting with colorful leotards and even brighter smiles? People weren't just sweating it out. They were grooving to the beat, feeding off the energy of the crowd and forming lasting bonds over high kicks and grapevines. It was a fitness revolution, a celebration of movement and music that swept the nation. But like all trends, the jazzercise craze eventually cooled down. New fitness fads emerged, from high-intensity boot camps to the zen-like focus of yoga. The rise of home workout videos and, later, online fitness programs meant we could break a sweat without ever leaving our living rooms. Today, the fitness landscape is more diverse than ever, offering a smorgasbord of options to suit every taste and fitness goal. While those classic aerobics classes may not be as ubiquitous as they once were, they hold a special place in our hearts, and maybe a few dusty VHS tapes tucked away in the attic. Arcade glory. From beeping pagers to the cacophony of the arcade. The malls of the 80s. Remember the sheer excitement of those dimly lit arcades, bursting with the glow of neon lights and the sounds of furious button mashing? The air buzzed with friendly competition and the sweet smell of victory, or maybe defeat, depending on your gaming skills. Rows upon rows of arcade cabinets beckoned with promises of adventure. Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Galaga. Each game a portal to a pixelated world of thrills and challenges. Back then, the arcade wasn't just a place to play games. It was a social hub, a proving ground where friendships were forged and rivalries were settled over joystick duels. But just like those once ubiquitous pagers, the reign of the arcade began to fade with the arrival of home gaming consoles. Suddenly, you could experience that same adrenaline rush from the comfort of your own living room, no quarters required. The convenience was undeniable. Today, with online and mobile gaming dominating the digital landscape, those bustling arcades have become a nostalgic symbol of a bygone era. While a few retro arcades still exist, clinging to the nostalgia of joystick heroes, the heyday of the mall arcade remains a cherished memory. Typewriters. Imagine a world without the delete key, a world where each word, once struck upon the page, was there to stay. That was life in the era of the typewriter, those clunky yet strangely satisfying machines that dominated offices and homes throughout the 80s and beyond. Remember the rhythmic clacking of keys, the satisfying ding at the end of each line, the anticipation of peeling back the ribbon to reveal your freshly typed masterpiece. Back then, mastering the art of typing, fingers flying across the keyboard, avoiding typos like a hawk, was a badge of honor. Whiteout and correction fluid were essential tools of the trade, and the fear of making a mistake was real. But as computers emerged from those shadowy computer labs and onto our desks, the typewriter's dominance began to dwindle. Word processors, with their magical ability to correct errors, adjust formats, and save countless documents with ease, quickly won over the hearts and fingers of typists everywhere. Today, typewriters have become more of a nostalgic curiosity, often found in antique shops or proudly displayed on the shelves of those who appreciate the beauty of analog creation. While few of us miss the fear of typos or the occasional paper jam, the typewriter era reminds us that sometimes the simplest tools can leave the most lasting mark. Payphones. Can you imagine a time when you couldn't just whip out your phone to send a text or make a quick call? Believe it or not, there once was a time when payphones were king. Picture this. You're strolling down a busy city street, and there it is. A bright, sturdy payphone booth, a lifeline for staying connected on the go. Back then, these booths were as commonplace as coffee shops are today, a vital part of the urban landscape. People relied on them for everything from quick check-ins with family to important business calls when away from the office. But just like those chunky car phones of the past, payphones have become a nostalgic relic of a bygone era. Enter the age of the cell phone, a sleek, pocket-sized device that puts the power of communication right in the palm of your hand. With everyone carrying their own personal communication device, the need for shared public phones dwindled, leaving those once ubiquitous payphone booths standing empty. Today, many have been removed entirely, replaced by digital advertising screens or offering free Wi-Fi instead of a dial tone. It's incredible how quickly technology reshapes our world, turning everyday objects into relics of the past. Smoke-filled skies. It's wild to think about now, but there was a time when lighting up a cigarette on a plane was as normal as ordering a tomato juice. Can you imagine? Planes actually had designated smoking sections. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but as we learned more about the dangers of secondhand smoke, it became clear that those clouds of smoke in a confined cabin were a recipe for health problems. The tide began to turn in the 90s, when airlines, one by one, started banning smoking on flights. Passengers, especially non-smokers, rejoiced at the thought of breathing easier and arriving at their destinations without that lingering smoky smell. By the early 2000s, smoking on airplanes was a relic of the past, banished by strict aviation regulations worldwide. Today, trying to light up on a plane would not only earn you some serious side-eye from fellow passengers, but it could also land you a hefty fine or even legal trouble. The smoke-free skies are a victory for public health and a testament to how changing societal norms and scientific understanding can lead to positive change. In the 1980s, how old were you? And what job were you doing? Do you have any memorable experiences from that time? Share your answers in the comments below. Floppy disks. Remember those square plastic disks? The ones you'd meticulously label with a Sharpie and handle with the utmost care? Those were floppy disks, the unsung heroes of the early computer age. Before cloud storage and massive hard drives, those flimsy-looking squares held our digital lives, school assignments, precious photos, in glorious low resolution, and even those early computer games that took forever to load. We'd carry them around in special cases, praying they wouldn't get bent or near a magnet, because losing that data was a fate worse than a computer crash. But just like those neon spandex outfits and jazzercise routines, the reign of the floppy disk was destined to end. As our digital needs grew, so did the demand for more storage space. Enter the USB drive, a sleek little device that could hold hundreds, even thousands of times more data than its floppy ancestor. And then came the cloud, an ethereal realm where our files could live forever, accessible from anywhere with an internet connection. The floppy disk, once a symbol of cutting-edge technology, became a nostalgic relic, a reminder of a time when saving your work meant a symphony of whirring and clicking noises. Reading newspapers in print at breakfast. Remember the sound of rustling newsprint, the smell of ink, the satisfying thud of a hefty newspaper landing on your doorstep? For many, that was the soundtrack to a leisurely breakfast, a chance to catch up on the world while sipping a cup of coffee. The morning paper was a ritual, a window into local happenings, a connection to the wider community. You'd scan the headlines, catch up on sports scores, and maybe even clip out a recipe or a crossword puzzle. But just as the milkman and the rotary phone have faded into memory, so too has the morning newspaper ritual. The internet, with its constant stream of news updates and personalized content feeds, has transformed how we consume information. Now, we scroll through news headlines on our phones while waiting for our toast to pop, catching up on global events in the time it takes to brew a cup of coffee. While the convenience of digital news is undeniable, something has been lost in the transition. The tactile experience of holding a newspaper, the serendipitous discovery of an interesting article tucked away on page 6, the shared experience of discussing current events over breakfast. Those elements are fading, replaced by a more fragmented and individualized news experience. It represents a time when information was savored, not just consumed, and a reminder that even in a fast-paced digital world, there's still value in slowing down and connecting with the world through the printed page. Laserdisc. Before streaming was even a glimmer in the internet's eye, before DVDs and Blu-rays took over our entertainment centers, there was a brief, shining moment when Laserdisc was king. Okay, maybe not king, but it was definitely seen as the future of home entertainment. Picture this: massive discs, even bigger than vinyl records, promising crystal-clear pictures and sound quality that made VHS tapes sound like a tin can. Owning a Laserdisc player was a statement. It meant you were on the cutting edge of tech, a true connoisseur of cinematic experiences. But much like a shooting star, Laserdisc's reign was short-lived. Those giant discs were pricey and cumbersome, and as VHS got better and cheaper, Laserdisc's fate was sealed. Then came the DVD, smaller, more affordable, and offering even better quality. It was a knockout punch, and Laserdisc, sadly, became a footnote in the ever-evolving story of home entertainment. Today, those shiny silver discs are mostly collector's items, artifacts of a time when bigger seemed better, and the future of home theater involved carefully flipping a disc midway through a movie. Ah, memories. It's a reminder that in the tech world, even the shiniest, most promising gadgets can quickly become yesterday's news. Dial-up internet. Remember that iconic sound? The screech, the beeps, the whirs, building up to a triumphant or sometimes defeated connection tone? That, my friends, was the sound of the internet in its infancy. Back in the day, dial-up internet reigned supreme. We'd patiently, or not so patiently, wait as our computers bravely fought to establish a connection, tying up the phone line in the process. Downloading a single song could take an eternity, and forget about watching videos online. That was pure science fiction. But oh, the patience we learned. We became masters of multitasking, finding ways to fill those agonizing minutes or hours it took to load a simple web page. But progress, like the internet itself, movies at lightning speed. Broadband internet swooped in, promising faster speeds and a world of possibilities. Suddenly, downloading music took minutes, not hours, and streaming video became a reality, not a distant dream. Dial-up, once the gateway to the digital world, faded into obscurity, a relic of a time when patience was a virtue, and online life moved at a more measured pace. Network TV. Remember those days when the entire family would gather around the TV at precisely 8 p.m. for the premiere of a new sitcom, or when you'd rush home from school to catch your favorite cartoon? Back then, network TV ruled our viewing schedules. We were at the mercy of broadcast times, meticulously circling dates in TV guides and setting VCRs to record episodes we couldn't miss. It was a shared cultural experience, bonding over water cooler conversations about last night's cliffhanger. But now, we live in the age of instant gratification. Thanks to streaming giants like Netflix, Hulu, and Disney+, we can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. Binge watching entire seasons in one glorious, sleep-deprived weekend? No problem. Want to rewatch that hilarious scene for the 10th time? Go for it. This on-demand revolution liberated us from the tyranny of network schedules, offering unparalleled control over our entertainment destiny. While this shift brought unparalleled viewing freedom, it also changed how we consume and connect with television. The anticipation of waiting a week for a new episode, the communal viewing experience, those elements have faded, replaced by personalized watch lists and solo viewing sessions. Leaded gasoline. It's hard to believe now, But there was a time when pumping leaded gasoline into our cars was as routine as grabbing a cup of coffee. Back then, that potent mix, with its extra kick from tetraethyllead, was touted for boosting engine performance. But behind that extra horsepower lurked a hidden danger: lead. As scientists began to unravel the serious health risks associated with lead exposure, particularly its devastating impact on child development, alarm bells started ringing. It turned out that those fumes from our tailpipes weren't just polluting the air, they were quietly poisoning our communities and harming future generations. The 1980s and 90s ushered in a wave of change. Countries around the world, driven by growing concerns for both environmental and human health, began phasing out leaded gasoline. It was a monumental shift, a victory for cleaner air, and a testament to the power of collective action. Today, leaded gasoline is largely a relic of the past, replaced by unleaded options and cleaner-burning alternatives like ethanol and biodiesel. The air we breathe, especially in urban areas, is significantly less toxic. And children, thankfully, face a far lower risk of lead poisoning. Please share with us which part of this article you found most impressive or interesting in the comments. Thank you. Walkmans. Before Spotify playlists and AirPods ruled the world, the soundtrack to our lives played out on a Walkman. Remember those iconic portable cassette players? They were more than just gadgets. They were a symbol of freedom, a way to escape into your own world. A personal soundtrack accompanying you wherever you roamed. The hiss of the tape, the click of the rewind button. It was all part of the experience. You'd carefully curate mixtapes for every occasion, painstakingly recording songs from the radio or meticulously dubbing them from precious vinyl records. A mixtape wasn't just a collection of tunes. It was a message, a story, a deeply personal expression shared through the language of music. But as technology marched on, those trusty Walkmans began to gather dust. The arrival of the iPod, with its promise of thousands of songs in your pocket, spelled the end of an era. Today, smartphones have become our all-in-one entertainment hubs, streaming endless music libraries with a few taps on a screen. It's amazing how quickly technology evolves, but amidst all the digital advancements, a certain fondness for the Walkman remains. It represents a time when listening to music was a more tactile, deliberate act, and a reminder that sometimes the simplest devices can leave the biggest mark on our cultural landscape. VHS tapes. Remember those Friday night trips to the video store back in the 80s and 90s? The excitement of browsing rows of VHS tapes, the scent of popcorn lingering in the air, families huddled together debating the perfect movie for their night in. It was an experience all its own. Those video stores were more than just places to rent movies. They were community hubs, buzzing with shared excitement and the thrill of discovering a hidden gem on those jam-packed shelves. Fast forward to today, and things have certainly changed. Movie night still thrives, but instead of venturing out, the movies come to us. With a few clicks on Netflix, Hulu, or any of the countless streaming services, we unlock a universe of entertainment, instantly available from the comfort of our couches. No more late fees, no more rewinding hassles, just pure viewing bliss at our fingertips. It's amazing how technology seamlessly weaves itself into our lives, offering convenience and endless choices. But amidst this digital transformation, a hint of nostalgia lingers. We can't help but reminisce about those bustling video stores, a reminder of a time when movie nights meant more than just pressing play. Cassette tapes. Before Spotify and curated playlists ruled our headphones, there was a special kind of magic in hitting record on a cassette tape, poised to capture your favorite song off the radio. Remember that feeling? You'd scan the radio waves, anxiously awaiting the first note of that tune you just had to have on a mixtape. It was a waiting game, a test of reflexes, and oh so satisfying when you nailed that perfect recording, free of DJ chatter. Crafting a mixtape was an art form, a labor of love. It was about sharing a piece of your musical soul, painstakingly curated onto a physical object that held the power to transport you back to a specific moment in time. Today, our musical desires are met with a tap on our phones. Streaming services offer millions of songs at our fingertips, ready to be shuffled, saved, and shared in an instant. While undeniably convenient, something about the raw, tangible experience of the mixtape era continues to hold a certain charm. The anticipation, the effort, the thrill of the musical chase. It's a reminder of a time when curating your own soundtrack was a deliberate and deeply personal act. Using a pager. Remember those little devices doctors used to have clipped to their scrubs, the ones that would beep ominously in the middle of a restaurant dinner? Those were pagers, the epitome of 90s communication technology. Before the era of smartphones and instant notifications, pagers were the lifeline for professionals on the go. Doctors, firefighters, business executives, they all relied on these pocket-sized wonders to stay connected. You'd hear that telltale beep, glance at the tiny screen displaying a phone number, and race to the nearest phone booth. Remember those? To call back. Pagers kept us on our toes, always a little bit tethered, waiting for that important message. But then, along came the mobile phone revolution, and suddenly, those trusty beepers seemed positively prehistoric. Why carry a device that could only receive messages when you could have a sleek phone in your pocket capable of calls, texts, and even gasp games? The writing was on the wall. The age of the pager was over, replaced by the unstoppable wave of mobile phones. Today, those little beepers are mostly museum pieces, a nostalgic reminder of a time when communication was a bit more interrupted. And while we might not miss the constant beeping or frantic searches for a payphone, the pager era holds a certain retro charm, a glimpse into a time when staying connected was a slightly more analog affair. Paper maps. Before Google Maps became our co-pilot, navigating unfamiliar roads was an adventure all its own. Remember the days of unfolding those massive paper maps, desperately trying to pinpoint your location while driving with one hand? Or the thrill of victory when you finally located your destination after what felt like hours of searching? Those were the days of trusty road atlases, scribbled on map printouts, and the occasional wrong turn that led to an unexpected detour, sometimes a happy accident, sometimes not so much. But then came the GPS revolution, and suddenly, our glove compartments were freed from the tyranny of paper maps. Those little devices, with their soothing voices and uncanny ability to pinpoint our location on a digital map, changed everything. No more fumbling with fold-out maps or stopping for directions. Just punch in the address, and off you go. And now, with smartphones doubling as navigation powerhouses, accessing directions, real-time traffic updates, and even alternate routes is as easy as a tap on the screen. Thanks to Google Maps, Apple Maps, and a constellation of GPS satellites, those once essential paper maps have become relics of a bygone era, symbols of a time when navigation required a keen eye, a bit of intuition, and maybe even a prayer. The Card Catalog Chronicles. Imagine a time before Google, before the internet, a time when the quest for knowledge began in the hushed silence of the library, amidst towering shelves and the faint scent of aging paper. Back then, the card catalog was our guide, a meticulously organized labyrinth of index cards, each one a gateway to a world of information. It was a tactile experience, the satisfying clunk of the drawer, the smooth texture of the cards, the whispered debates with your friends over Dewey Decimal classifications. Remember meticulously copying down call numbers, then embarking on a scavenger hunt through the stacks, hoping against hope that the book you sought hadn't already been checked out. But just like those smoky airplane cabins and dial-up modems, the card catalog has faded into the annals of history, replaced by the digital efficiency of online catalogs. Today, we can browse library collections from our laptops or smartphones, searching for books with a few keystrokes instead of squinting at handwritten cards. While undeniably convenient, something about the tangible nature of the card catalog, the sense of discovery it offered, continues to hold a certain charm. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Film photography. Remember the anticipation of dropping off a roll of film at the drugstore, the agonizing wait to see how those captured moments turned out? That, my friends, was the magic of film photography. Before smartphones transformed us all into amateur photographers, 35mm cameras reigned supreme. There was an art to wielding one of those babies. You had to understand aperture, shutter speed, and focus. No auto settings to save you. Each click of the shutter was a commitment, a precious exposure from a limited roll of film, making every shot count. Remember carefully framing each picture, hoping you nailed the focus and exposure? The thrill of finally getting your photos developed, reliving memories, and discovering hidden gems amongst the occasional blurry mishaps? Those were the days. Today, we capture memories with a tap on a screen. Our digital cameras and smartphones, equipped with megapixels and instant previews, offer convenience and endless photo opportunities. But amidst this digital revolution, film photography holds a certain allure. The grain, the imperfections, the anticipation of the unknown. It captured something special, a certain magic that a perfectly filtered Instagram post can't quite replicate. Drive-in theaters. Remember those magical summer nights, piled into the family car, popcorn in hand, gazing up at a giant screen under a canopy of stars? Drive-in theaters, they were an experience unlike any other. It wasn't just about watching a movie. It was about freedom, fresh air, and family fun. Kids could sprawl out in pajamas. Couples could share a bucket of popcorn under the moonlight. It was romance and nostalgia rolled into one. But as the 20th century rolled on, the flickering projectors of those outdoor cinemas began to dim. The land they stood on became too valuable, swallowed up by sprawling malls and multiplex theaters boasting surround sound and cushy seats. The rise of VCRs and later streaming services meant we could have a movie night anytime, right in our living rooms. And let's be honest, those tiny speakers you had to hook onto your car window? Not exactly high-fidelity sound. While most drive-ins faded into memory, a few resilient ones remain, clinging to the nostalgia of a bygone era. They're a reminder of a simpler time, a testament to the enduring appeal of a shared experience under the stars. Neon spandex. Picture this. It's 1985. Leg warmers are a fashion staple. Big hair reigns supreme, and every shopping mall is awash in a vibrant explosion of neon spandex. Yes, there was a time when rocking neon pink leggings or a bright yellow spandex bodysuit in broad daylight wasn't just acceptable, it was downright fashionable. The bolder, the brighter, the better. Neon spandex, with its tight-fitting second skin silhouette, captured the spirit of the 80s perfectly. It was a time of self-expression, a celebration of individuality, and a whole lot of fun. Whether you were hitting the gym, heading to the mall, or simply strutting down the street, neon spandex was your statement piece. But like all trends, fashion's pendulum eventually swung in a different direction. The minimalist aesthetic of the 90s, with its muted colors and relaxed silhouettes, took center stage, relegating neon spandex to the back of the closet or maybe a themed 80s party. While neon might make the occasional comeback on fashion runways or in music videos, It's no longer the ubiquitous street-style staple it once was. But for those who lived through the era of neon spandex, it holds a special place in our fashion memories. It represents a time when fashion wasn't afraid to be bold, a reminder that sometimes a little bit of flamboyance can be a beautiful thing. Wow, what a blast from the past. From neon fashion to groundbreaking gadgets, the 80s were a decade of bold trends and unforgettable moments. Did any of these forgotten fads spark a wave of nostalgia? Let me know in the comments which ones you remember rocking back in the day. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, be sure to check out the rest of our 80s series where we explore even more iconic trends and moments from this totally rad decade. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and share this video with your friends who also remember the awesomeness of the 80s.